What are the topics that you should cover? First and foremost, you need to go through introductions. So you need to introduce yourself as both a coach and as a person, sharing your background, what you do for a living, gives everyone a little perspective onto you as a person and the commitment that you're making to the team that's going to take time away from your business life and also your family. You should introduce your assistants if they have been determined. Sometimes that happens at this type of meeting. And all the families in the room should introduce themselves as well. Again, soccer is social. We can't emphasize that enough. And families that are on the sidelines, game in, game out, dropping players on and off the fields, carpools, all of those things can be made easier and less burdensome if families are friendly. You should have a sign-in sheet to gather contact information. Just little points and tips. You should have an email address, a cell phone, and a home phone. Piece there that's not noted is their preferred method of delivery. So email may work for some people, cell phone may work best, or a home phone and a message may work best if they're unavailable, say a teacher, during the day. And then you should also get the medical release information. Sometimes that's done during sign-ups, but if it isn't a critical piece, and I assure you that the first time you have a hurt player, you will be very thankful that your medical release information is in your bag with you, whether it's at games or at practices. You should explain your philosophy, which really equals your expectations. So hopefully you've developed a soccer philosophy. If you haven't done that, I'd encourage you to find our presentation on developing a soccer philosophy. It's really helpful, and it really avoids any miscommunication or differing expectations. If you communicate your soccer philosophy and what people should expect from you, it eliminates that stress and potential conflict during the season. You should explain your plans for the team. That would include going to tournaments, how many practices a week, games, attendance, how to notify if someone's not going to be at practice, what is the way to get in touch with you, since you are going to be planning your sessions and you're going to expect a full squad each and every practice. If players aren't going to show up or there's some type of conflict of commitment, whether it's a school play or a band concert, knowing that on the front end allows you to modify your practice so that everyone gets something out of it. What your player development model is, that would include your expectations of wins or losses, wins and losses, and where your emphasis is. Playing time, you should refer to your club manual. Some people have expectations for equal playing time, certain minimum levels of playing time, and you should know that going in. And again, re-emphasizing the soccer triad, and the emphasis that we always say here is, what are you teaching your kids? And if we use that as our framework for our actions, we're certain that if there's things that we wouldn't want published on the next day's newspaper, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. So the next time you think about cursing at a referee, imagine, would you be proud if you read that on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper, and modify your behavior from there. You should communicate about practices and games, when and where practices are, when and where games are, and you should also communicate what to bring to practice and games. At a minimum, off the top of our head, you should bring a ball. Players should wear their cleats, shin guards, and socks just as they would in a game. They should bring a bag that contains their water or their sports drink, and weather-appropriate clothes. So, for instance, in the Northeast, we'll start soccer in mid-August, where it'll be 90 degrees and really humid, and we'll end our season with a Thanksgiving tournament where it'll be 35 degrees out on the field when we're practicing at 7:30 at night. So we need to transition throughout the season to bring weather-appropriate clothes. Players that are cold or hot or underhydrated need to be rehydrated. All of those things are really important to having successful practices. I need help. These are the most magical words I learned as a coach, and you should learn to use them. You are a coach, you're not a superhero. And so don't be afraid to ask for help. I think the thing that I've learned through the years, when you go to people that you're coaching, the words "I need help" are immediately responded to, "Sure, how can I help you?" It's really a wonderful set of words to use. So every team should have at least 2 assistant coaches. Soccer experience or no soccer experience doesn't really matter, but you need to have people that are reliable and can be consistently available to you to make practices run smoothly or in your absence. You should also have 1 team manager, someone that's responsible for communicating with the team or with opposing coaches to figure out playing directions, to figure out practice cancellations and communicating that. That's not something that should always fall back on the coach. And if you have a team network to help you with that, certainly makes your job a whole lot easier. Fundraising and sponsors. You might need to buy your own uniforms and equipment or travel out of state to tournaments. That can be handled by one person. You can ask for people's help. Some people may have businesses that may want to contribute or sponsor the team. And then there's special requests. Every club is going to have volunteers for snack bars, fields. The notion that everyone must participate. I think the important piece here is soccer is not a babysitting service. You didn't sign your kid up for soccer and drop them off to the fields and come back and pick them up and operate your world in a vacuum. So everyone must participate, and I think if you set that expectation on the front end, you certainly have a more successful experience for everyone. The takeaway points. These are the things that you should be leaving the meeting. If you're in a travel or club environment, you probably need to do the carding process to certify your players of age so that they can play in a gaming league. For recreational, that's typically not an issue. You should also leave with the contact information, which should happen during the initial sign-in. Medical release forms. I cannot underestimate or overestimate the importance of medical release forms. The first time you need them, I assure you, having them will be a great relief, and not having them will be a tragic situation. I've been in both situations, and it is a mistake that you will only make once in your life. Special situations, every team has them, and you can ask people to see you later. Special situations would include divorce, parental sharing, how people get to and from games. Sometimes that might include buying 2 uniforms so that mom and dad both have a uniform. People who are on night shift might be difficult to contribute in certain ways. Certain medical information. I know I had to be trained for one of my players to be able to give him a shot and to watch him out on the field because he was severely diabetic, and there were certain tips and tricks that his parents had to give me to keep an eye on Jason during the season. You can set up carpools. Let people kind of do that on the side. They'll figure out carpools. Uniforms and equipment, again, is the league providing these, or do you need to buy these as a team? And then certainly the thanks for everyone coming and looking forward to a really fun and interesting season. I hope this presentation gives you some ideas of how to conduct one, where to conduct one, and most importantly, setting the expectations for a season of success. I can't overestimate how important this is. It is your first kind of job as coach to set up that season and your players for success, and it's just as important previous to this to set up your own coaching philosophy so that you can communicate those expectations.